Hi, everyone. Kelly here. Today I have Mandy Edmond from Mandy Edmond Piano Studio. She's located in Jackson County, Georgia. Mandy and I are going to be talking today about how she was able to add 17 summer lesson students in the past 7 weeks. It's been a whirlwind, lots of really hard work, but she's killing it. So I'm excited to dive into this a little bit more today. But before we go any further, Mandy, I'll have you do a quick introduction. Tell us a little bit more about you and your studio.
Thank you, Kelly, for having me. I am originally from Hong Kong, and I'm also a mom of three kids, and I have a 7-year-old, 5-year-old, and a 9 months old. So
So you're
pretty
busy.
busy, very busy. Yeah, I've been teaching piano for about 3 years, like full time, not full time, like my studio it's been 3 years, but before that I've been teaching piano. I've been more serious about it after I gave birth to my son. Like I took like some time, and then 6 months, 4 to 6 months after, I'll be like, okay, I want to start again. And so I've been, just trying to go hard.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I know, especially the last couple months, in the last 7 weeks in particular, we've been really pushing for this growth in your studio. So, what makes your studio unique? I know that you've got some exciting new things that you've been working on. How is your studio structured? What does that look like?
So I'm really excited about what my offers are, the options. I have a variety of lessons
Mhm.
options. So which is to me is a win. So I do have group lessons in persons. They are for beginners. And I also have asynchronous program. So that means I have a recorded material with live feedback, and I also have regular one-on-one traditional private lesson, and I have one that is kind of like it's called sporadic program. So basically, they come a few times a week instead of every single week. I
Got
mean, every few times a month instead of
it.
every single week.
Got it. Got it. So we have a variety of options, which means that your studio can also serve a lot of students. So describe your ideal student a little bit. Who are you usually trying to attract into the studio for some of these programs?
Yeah, so I think it's very interesting because what I like, the people that I like to teach and what the market is
Mhm.
could be sometime different, and I'm discovering what I really like. I really like my ideal student is more like middle school to high school age that
Mhm.
are, you know, probably like late elementary to early intermediate level. Right now, though, where I am at, I get more elementary students that are, you know, beginners level, and I also have some adults that want to start piano again.
Got it. So as we've been building out these new programs, the intention has been move Mandy away from just teaching a million trillion beginner piano lessons individually and give you that flexibility to kind of cherry pick who you really want to be spending the individual time with. So the asynchronous program, for example,
Mhm.
that's more geared towards your beginners, correct?
Right, and it's more for not super young kids.
Mm.
It's for my 7, 8 year or even above. It depends on how the kids can stay focused and do it on their own term.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then this gives us the ability, as we're growing the studio and as we're scaling your program, to take on more students, to serve the students, because obviously you have a lot of demand. We've added 17 students in the last 7 weeks. So people in your area are looking for piano, but it does give you this option to market outside of your immediate area, find students who are at that beginner level and serve them in a way that's a little bit more flexible. When we're talking about the asynchronous program, this is something that was a more recent development for you. Hasn't launched yet.
It hasn't launched. It is launching actually on June 1st in a
Awesome.
few weeks.
So you started recording material and developing the course about 6 weeks ago, correct?
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
So we've got
All
a
work.
live launch right now. We're in the middle of May. So we're talking June 1st. So we've got about 2 weeks left. In the last 5 weeks, you've done all the recording. And how many students do we have actually enrolled in that asynchronous course for the June 1st launch?
So I have already enrolled 6 new students for that program.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. That's really exciting. Let's back up a little bit before we get into some of the more details about the asynchronous program and all the group lessons and everything that you're offering. we started talking about this new idea and this process for you a little over 7 weeks ago. So before that, what did your studio look like before you launched all this new programming?
So I used to have 8 students
Mhm.
and very regular traditional like lessons. They come to my house once a week for like 30 to 45 minutes, and they are all going to be after school hours, like for example 4 or 4:30. And I used to teach Tuesday, Thursday afternoon, and then Wednesday in the morning, because I do have 3 homeschool students.
Got it. Got it. And obviously some adult students too that kind of pop in and out when it's convenient for them. And I know we've got some flexibility there that we offer them. When we were talking about the asynchronous in the group classes, what was exciting about that for you, or why did that feel like it could be a good fit?
For sure. So I was trying to figure out what do I want to do with my
Mm.
studio before I met you. I was figuring out, okay, I really want to expand my studio, but I don't have more time. Like, I mean, I could like go like every day after school, but I do have 3 kids, and
Right.
the mom guilt is real. Like, I just, I already feel like 2 days a week is quite a lot after school, and my kids' bedtime kind of get pushed back those days, and dinner get crazy, and just to me, like the 6 to 7, out usually. I call it the witching hours. That means my kids are going really bonkers. Like they are like the most hungry, and they need me, and they are like just, you have to settle them down. And it was really challenging. Still, I still struggle on that. But I was trying to figure out like what can I do, because I want to make more money,
Mhm.
but I don't want to work necessarily more hours.
Got it.
So something that was very, very exciting when I was talking to you, like you present to me the idea of asynchronous lesson. I've never heard of it. It's just, wow, I could have more students, but I don't have to necessarily work a lot more. I mean, maybe I will work a little more, but it's more flexible. It's not like I have to be sitting from 4 to 6 every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it obviously has taken some setup time. We'll talk about the recording, and
Yeah.
that has been a big process.
Yeah.
What does that process look like for you? How are you recording the material? Do you kind of have a schedule that you have put out? What's the goal in the last couple of weeks as we've been preparing the material for the launch date?
Yeah, so I, got the material. I got permission from the author, and then, I just try to plan out, because I have like modules, and like how many modules I need to get
Mm.
ready, and all the songs theory, and all the things. So the first week was really hard. Like I'm just like, oh man, I'm trying to set up, and like the lighting's not is not, not right, and like a lot of editing and all that fun stuff. And then now it's a little easier, because it's easier for me to set it up, and I have to do it when my kids are not up, because I mean my baby, um, he make a lot of noise. Okay, so I mean if it's like in person, a lot of parents are understanding, but when
Right.
I'm doing online, they don't really know me, like they don't see
Right.
me, then they'll be like, okay, that person is not professional. So I
Mm.
have been recording early morning,
Yeah.
like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Before my son wakes up, I will try to record when he has a nap time. Sometimes it doesn't happen because I have a lot going on, and sometimes I will record like after, like it will be 8 or 9, and
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's pretty challenging.
Yeah, it is a process. It is a process. And it's exciting because obviously it means that eventually we're going to have this flexibility. Like June 1st is going to come and we've got these 6 students already so far that are pre-enrolled. And you don't have to be live teaching those students and spending, the 3 to 6 hours a week on those individual private lessons with them, which is obviously the goal.
Mhm.
When we're talking about this recording right now, do you feel like, and you mentioned it's getting easier, do you feel like once we have a good chunk of this done, it's going to feel a little bit more relaxed the next couple of weeks as we start launching?
Yeah, definitely. And I will be able to see how much they will watch each week. So I will pace myself and be able to organize even more better.
Awesome. Awesome. I know we set a goal of like having the first 6 to 8 weeks recorded, and then you came to me like 2 weeks ago and you're like, I think I already have 8 weeks, but I'm just going to keep going in case I can get ahead, like I'm in a groove, which is great. I mean, that's part of the balance here too, is if you're in the zone and you feel like it's the right time to keep going on doing that, obviously we can have more done and then we can take more of a break this summer when your kids are home from school too.
Yeah, that's the plan.
It's exciting. Speaking of summer, usually kind of a weird time to build the studio, right? Historically, a lot of studios see attrition in the summer,
Mhm.
but it's the middle of May and you've managed to add 17 students to your studio. So tell me a little bit about that. What are you hearing from parents? Why are they excited about your lesson offers right now? Why is this a good fit? And why has this been a good time of the year for you to build?
Yeah, I think I probably didn't touch on the group lesson, but now is the perfect time to talk about it.
Yeah.
I my group lesson, I have never really official taught like group lesson. I've done like workshops in my studio, so this one was new and exciting because I have two kids my own, so I kind of know how kids were a little bit. When I was presenting to the locals parents, they were really excited because um, it I presented as like a 6 weeks exploratory, beginning lesson, more like fun and games and engaging. And it was interesting because like the end day is supposed to be like 3 weeks after the school year, you
Yeah.
know, and they still sign up. And I'm just, it's so interesting because I just see like, I when I was presenting to them, I help them to understand the goals and like how they are going to feel. Like,
Mm,
they every parents want the kids to learn something fun. And and to me, music lesson is like a lot of people actually see the value of it, but they don't really know how to approach. And to like parents that are like they have kids like elementary school age, if they are not like super, how to say, quiet, maybe
mm,
like they can sit and like read books all the time. Most of them like walk, like they run around, they're pretty hyper, right? And I
yeah.
feel like you know the individual private lessons is kind of scaring them because
Mm.
they are really nervous about
Feels
like
like it might not be a good
commitment.
fit for their child.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
they want to try. So my kind of marketing point is that this is basically a trial of
Mm,
how lesson is going to go, and if they
yeah.
like it, then we will continue. So I,
Awesome.
at the same time, I don't really know those kids yet. I don't really want to like, okay, you log in for me with me for a year, then I don't want that pressure because I have a
Mhm.
hard time saying no in general. Just it's kind of hard. And the aside, the asynchronous course was really interesting too because when I was presenting to the parents, I have some that are just like love it. They the ones that want to join, they're like, yeah, I totally need this because the parents work. A lot of parents in where I live in Georgia, they work until 4 or 5 at night,
Mm,
so they work a lot. And then just think about they have to beat the traffic and get the kid,
yeah.
the witching hour comes, then, they are just like, don't
You're
want to
trying
do
to
it.
truck them all over the county for piano lessons and ballet and soccer. And yeah, it
Yeah.
gets overwhelming. And I mean, you're very close to Atlanta. Atlanta traffic, I used to live in that area. It is
Yeah.
so obnoxious.
And now it's like all the, even the suburbs nowadays, they are expanding all the freeway. It's just, yeah, it's not
I got
fun.
state gas.
And now the gas price is so expensive. I feel like,
Mhm.
they even think about that as, a benefit.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you feel like parents, when we're looking at the asynchronous and the group lessons, especially the asynchronous, when we're talking about summer, do you think the flexibility of the asynchronous is something that is really appealing for the summer, that maybe they don't want to have that set lesson time? So this for the time of the year seems really exciting to them?
Yeah, actually, there are some, I mean, really depends on the parents, but like I think it's all about how we present it too.
Mm,
Um, how I presented was, you can try it out to see, how summer goes, and they are really open to it because when they have summer, they don't have school. Then they
right.
can kind of like, dip their toes a little deeper. They can like, kind of have more start a routine, I would say.
Yeah.
And even though they go on, some of them ask, okay, so I'm gonna travel this week, family vacations. Like that's perfect. That's the whole point of this course is
Yeah.
that they can, if that week they don't, they have a lot of things going on, then they might just skip that week, and then the next week they can work harder.
Awesome. That flexibility. And for you, obviously, the flexibility is enormous because you want to spend the summer with your kids too. And you want to have that time with them. But the same thing's happening for your students, that they can have all of that flexibility in their schedule. When we say skip a week, we're talking about that video exchange. So you have material recorded. What else is included in that asynchronous model? There's the recorded kind of course material, and then they get some feedback from you. What does that look like?
So we call it the video exchange. So basically, depends on the package that they buy each month. So for example, if they purchase for 6 videos a month, then they will, they will watch some videos and then they will send me a video of them playing basically, and then I will give them feedback, like in the form of like another video or voice or email and anything like that. So
Awesome.
it's like back and forth, and I will actually be able to expand more. And I
Mm.
like things that I like is that they can rewatch it, because like how many times you have students, you taught them something like a new technique or whatever, and then the next, oh, actually the things that drive me nuts is the landmark notes, because
Yeah.
they will learn treble G and bass C, and then I swear the next week they come back, it's like, what is that? Okay, let's go back to
For the
that page.
6th week in a row, let's find middle C. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's important to have that replay and that access too, because students are going to use that, and I think too it helps to have the parents involved, right? Like now the parents can see that feedback and help them coach a little bit more too.
Yeah, I do have one parent that was concerning about like the whole online
Mm.
thing, and she was like, well, I don't think my daughter can learn that in online very well. And I brought up to the point that she agreed. I was like, well, because of COVID and
Mm.
everybody basically forced to be online,
Yeah.
and I said the trend of this generation is we're going to learn more online and virtually. And I just point out that it might be something that she can practice, and later on maybe when she go to college it will be really useful. So just
Mm.
learning how to work with online curriculum, and you
Yeah.
know and,
And
and
to
the
learn
yeah,
independently.
the awesome thing
That's
is like I don't just throw them in the dark, I actually help them along the way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And really appealing too for a parent that is looking for that flexibility for their child or wants more activities. But, especially in a family where there are multiple children and you're trying to balance a lot of schedules. I know a lot of my studio, even though they're in my local area, they've chosen to stay online because they can't always coordinate a ride to the lessons. Or
Yeah.
there are weeks that I get an email and they're like, hey, tomorrow we have a concert for one kid and we can't get the other one to the lesson. Can we do online? And that's all totally fine. It does provide so much flexibility, but the asynchronous is just the next level of that they don't have to have that set time. And also you're not hearing a lesson if they didn't practice, because they have to practice to send you a video. They can't just show up with nothing done. So it also means that they are making progress on a more consistent basis, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you and I met because you're a part of our public Facebook group, our private music instructor group, and we've been kind of going back and forth in comments for a while, and you're a really active participant there. But when we first started talking, obviously the asynchronous idea piqued your interest, but what else was, kind of exciting for you about potentially working with our program to grow the studio?
Honestly, it's like the structure of it, and just, I mean, I kind of know how to run a studio, but like I think a lot of things that I kind of know, but I want to know more,
Mm.
and I just need more. Like I want like to be honest, I feel like a lot of things probably I can like figure it out by myself. Like in general, like I can just like read a lot of articles, read a lot of books, and like sign up some free courses on LinkedIn or whatever, but then it will cost me a lot of time, and maybe they don't even know what they're talking about. Maybe those people actually have never done it. So
Right.
just, and also I was watching a lot of the videos that you sent me, the previous interviews, and it's just very inspiring because obviously this is not really like a get rich thing, like just get
It's
$1 million
work.
in 2 months thing, right? So,
Yeah.
and it's a journey. Like entrepreneurship is not easy. I just feel like after I met you and joined the program, I feel like there's a community that
Mm.
everybody has like-minded, and is I think that is really valuable to me. Like, and I now I'm learning all these new ideas and skills, and I mean I'm like, Kelly, help! I need help, and you'll be able to just answer my questions, because I always, before I met you, I had a few times that I'm just like, I don't want to talk to parents anymore. Like I
Mm.
am so done by like just, I try to, I have been, I think there's like a few different personalities, right, in different people. I'm the one that pretty nice and try to like please everyone, and it's not working out. It's
Mm.
not working out. So, I guess, feel like get people take advantage of a lot, especially in
Yeah.
like the studio. And that's something that I don't want to. And now, I've learned that I can set my boundary even harder, and, just I'm okay with or not okay with doing something. And
Awesome.
I like that.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that that has been a big part of this. And again, I want to emphasize it's only been 7 weeks, but you're talking about setting boundaries, and we're not even like 2 months into this process. And we're still kind of in this baby steps of growing things, and it's launching next month, and we've got all this exciting work happening. But you're doing a lot of really incredible work, not only to build the programs and to find the students and do the marketing, but also you're doing a lot of really good internal work, and you're coming and asking the questions, and you're really involved in the community, and you are, sharing when things are going well, and you're sharing when things are frustrating and when you need some more advice and some help. And that's a really important piece of this, is knowing that, the point of having a community like this is to make sure that the full support is available to you, not just, getting questions answered, or not just patting you on the back when you do a good job, but making sure that every aspect of that business is covered for you.
Yeah, there's something that, can I say one thing that I feel very strongly is that I do have a few friends that are, either they are in school right now, piano, for piano major, or they just fresh out from college, and they're so struggling on if they want to start a family or not. And
Mm,
it's so hard because like the stereotype of piano teacher is either you're like, I mean, it just, maybe your kids are grown, and then you're like, okay, this is like my hobby, and you don't really have a lot going on, so you can like just build your own full studio like after school. And or, you're single and you don't have any commitment, then that is like, I feel like that is like very like polarized.
yeah,
Just, you're either that or this or that. And to
right.
me, like, I was trying to figure out like how can I be a mom and also teach piano, because that, to me, that is my lifelong calling that I just feel
Mm.
very strongly about. But I'm just feeling like, I feel like there's no way. Like, I even thought about maybe just need to open a music school, and I just thought about it, makes me anxious like crazy. I'm just like, I mean, it's not a good idea. I have already so much going on. So it just is so amazing that I can see the potential of, it's just 7 weeks, but I can't wait to see like what the next few months, and even when fall comes, when people are actually looking for more lessons, and just like, man, like I can see the potential, and I don't have to work like 40 hours a week.
Yeah,
I can make more than just that.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we're talking about the earning potential, as this is a scalable option, right? And so right now, when we had first started, you were working about maybe 5 to 6 hours a week, right? We had, I think, about 8 students in the studio. A lot of those were for family friends too, and people in your direct community. So we're talking about setting boundaries. That's a tough one. That took some adjustment in the first few weeks, and making sure that we made some good changes there. Now we've added those 17 students in 7 weeks. We talked about 6 are in asynchronous. I think we said 9 were in your group classes. So we really only added one private student of those 17. And then we had one more that we kind of put on an a la carte kind of lesson subscription for more sporadic lessons. But the rest of those students are in these scalable options for you. So we're not adding a ton of time. Right now, you're looking at maybe, I think we said about 8 to 10 hours of work a week, aside from recording, obviously, because we're still recording, but 8 to 10 hours a week of income. And we've raised our income on a monthly basis now from 1,100 to, I think, 3,300. Is that what we said?
Yeah,
In a
about
month,
that.
in 7 weeks. That's amazing. Congratulations. That's very exciting. And obviously doing it while you have 3 children, and while you're recording, and you've got all these amazing things going on, and it's busy, and it's the end of the school year, and activities and all that good stuff. What is something, if you were to give a piece of advice to someone that's pre 7 weeks ago, if they're in your shoes where you were about 2 months ago, where you're trying to figure out what to do next, what would that advice be?
First, I would say ask lots of questions, because when I first talk to you, the sense that I get from you is that you really care. You're not here to like, okay, buy my program, buy, like, because you know, when you can see the program is, the person is money, like it's just about money. It's different than, you're about serving others and like helping. So to me, is um honestly, don't be afraid to try to put in like a little faith. And like, when I was kind of in that state, like before I met you, I was trying to figure out, okay, maybe I should just stop teaching or like teach even more. So it's just kind of that in between. And I would say just, really trying to tune into like what you want to do, what makes you happy, like what is your lifelong calling. Do you want to teach piano for like the next 5 years? Or I even thought about, okay, maybe I need to do like, now online has all these kind of like e-commerce,
Yeah.
Pinterest, I don't know, like the
You can all
virtual
be
assistant,
Instagram bloggers. Yeah.
all this, or you can start TikTok, or
Yeah.
there's so many like shiny subjects everywhere. Just kind
Yeah.
of like it's easy to get into the scroll syndromes and just like, okay, maybe that looks really good. That looks good. Everywhere is like free training, and and then they, of course, they will hook you with their program. I just feel like it tune into what you've actually, your calling. So don't worry about everybody say, okay, musician doesn't, they can only buy pepperoni pizza. I've heard of that joke. It's like that means they can't pay rent. It's
Yeah.
not true. I and I think it just really understand like your internal calling, and understand that you actually want to do that. You enjoy working with children, or you enjoy teaching people how to, discover their talents and hobby, and then then put a leap of faith and do something about it, because everything you taught is actually working. It's really awesome.
Awesome. That's fantastic advice. Making sure that you are investing your time in what makes you happy. It's all in short-term success. I mean, obviously, you're doing what you love. And so putting that extra time into recording and putting extra time into meeting with families and doing consultations and bringing on new students, that's exciting because you're in your happy place and you're doing what makes you happy, you're doing what you love. It is hard if we don't have a sense of urgency, if we're not really ready to move forward on something, or it's not something we actually like. It is really hard to get yourself motivated to do something, and it's okay to listen to that too, right? This isn't the profession for everyone. This isn't the profession for every musician. Even teaching in a full-time capacity is not the best fit for everyone, and that's perfectly fine, right? It's okay to know that. And obviously we're not here to convince anyone that you should be teaching. If you don't think you want to teach, don't teach. That's totally okay. Lean into what you're hearing internally. But the other side of that too is if this is something that you want, it's okay to run full force towards it. I read a quote recently that was like, the only way to fail is to give up. And I think there's something really to that, when we're looking at building a new program like your asynchronous and your group lessons, that is a lot of time and energy and effort. And it's a lot of brainstorming in early mornings and late nights and getting creative and asking questions and thinking about this a lot every day.
Yeah.
That investment of time is hard to do if you're not in the right spot, in your mindset, if this isn't the right fit for you. It's also really, really tough to find that success and to keep moving forward if it's not something that you're sure you want. So I think that's great advice, Mandy, just making sure that you're listening to what you truly want and not what you think you should be doing
Thank you.
is
Yeah,
a
and
big key.
one piece is also I really love when you teach about mindsets and how
Mm.
so important. Like as musician, I grow up, doing the exam and festival. We grow up criticizing ourselves, like everything is like so negative. Even though going to music school, that you so I feel like sometimes like I supposed to be like so enjoy every moment, right? This is like what I love and all that. But then we are doing recital and like practicing. Sometimes we just get down. So oh man, like I went to my lesson with my teacher and just like I feel like crap. I feel like
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I don't know how to play anymore, and it's not true. I think a lot of times is we so ingrained in that mindset of like we are not enough, never be enough, or like someone is always better than you, or you never be perfect. That kind of mindset is so hard to like have expansion of like, okay, that's actually everything is possible, and you
Yeah.
don't have to be a concert pianist to be a teacher. You don't have to know every single thing. You don't need to know all the method books out there to teach, because I once thought about, oh, I need to just like research all the you don't have to do that, and you don't have to know everything to
Yeah.
do that.
You are so spot on. I'm so glad that you said that. And it's amazing what that mindset can do when we're talking about running a business. I mean, this is a lot of time and energy and effort. And then you have that mindset of, I will never be good enough. Everyone is my competition, right? There will always be someone better than me. And that really can eat away at you. And so when we're looking at promoting a business, it creates this fear, I think, for a lot of musicians, that I can't tell anyone what I'm doing, or I only want to talk about when it's done, because I only play the recital when it's perfect and it's at its best, right? So I'm not going to post on social media that I'm teaching lessons because my studio is not full yet. But if we don't tell anyone that we have a business, no one can buy from us. So we kind of create this little block for ourselves. It's something that obviously we work around and try to, maybe reset some of that and instill some positive mindset into this, but also a lot of belief that if you put the energy and the effort in, of course the results will come back to you. And we see that in our practice, whether we always let ourselves know that or not. And maybe we're not always nice enough to ourselves about that. But when you put the energy and effort in, you see the results. And it's the same thing with building a business. This is not, like you said, you've had remarkable results in the last 7 weeks, but it's been a lot of effort. It's not a get rich quick kind of thing. It does take some time and some investment. But when we do that, the results absolutely come back.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Very excited about all the progress that you've had and the growth and everything that we're seeing in your studio. Maybe some kind of final parting thoughts for anyone that's listening. Right now, if someone's listening, why would you tell them to take action now instead of maybe waiting and thinking about this a little bit longer? Why should they jump into their studio and go full force?
It's, going back to, what do you actually want? Do you want to stay in your current states that, maybe you're super stressed out by not having enough students or too many students, or, all that stress, or you want to maximize your potential, like actually, have a really clear direction of what you want to do with, your studio or teaching.
Awesome. Awesome. So get clear on it, go for it, move forward as fast as possible.
Exactly.
And in 7 weeks, you might have 17 new students heading into the summer, which is
Yeah.
really exciting. I love it. If someone's listening and they're kind of on the fence right now about maybe moving forward in this program specifically, who do you think would be a good fit, or why would you recommend this program to other people?
Honestly, to anybody that maybe like, it's kind of like my same situation. It's like, you are like on the fence of like, should I work more hours, or should I just quit, or like find like a different job, or like find a second job or whatever, I feel like a lot of times when that confusion comes, we're looking for someone to save us, or like something, like just we want to have like a comfort, just honestly talk to you, and then just really, because you will help everyone to see like what the action plan is, what we're going to do. You're not going to throw anyone to the dark. You really helping them to grow. And I think anyone that have that desire to like to have like a income that they want, and the desired amount of students, and the lifestyle that they want, I think, I truly think that they need to go for it. I'll recommend 100%.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Mandy. I really appreciate that. I think a final question on that point. I know that we're only 7 weeks in, but do you feel like the investment, the time and the financial investment that you've made to be a part of this program, do you feel that it's been worthwhile for you?
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
very much.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. I know we're early, so I'm kind of excited because maybe in another month or two, we're going to have a bigger update from Mandy and we'll have some more details. But I really appreciate you being so willing to share so early in the process and kind of give some more information about how you've done what you've done. So I appreciate your time and your input today. If someone wanted to find out more about you, they're curious about what you've got going on in the studio, where could they find you on the internet?
My Facebook name is Mandy Anman Studio, piano studio.
Perfect.
And then my website is mandyanman.duetpartner.com.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing all of your insights and really good advice. I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you all for listening and tuning in. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to send them my way, but I know that this has been really helpful for a lot of people, Mandy. So thank you again. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.